welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Going away from our race start here on the boardwalks in Arabia, a very familiar race start for many of our racers here on the Sunday Race Club. And today, our riders have taken off at over 6 watts per kilo. They decided, let's dial it out of these pens.
Parkour in the course today really does offer the opportunity for Category 6 to be the first group of riders across the line. For me, it completely depends on how Category 5 execute the race, because I think they are probably the only category likely to make the catch today to Category 6.
You can see the pickup here, Gonzalez Rua sprinting from the rear of this group, going to get into the draft. Has she been too far off the back here to score? She's now starting to pick up the rider at the back of this bunch. In comes the kick. Has she done enough to go through? I think that's a big ask.
Category 6 are on the leeward desert climb. The push is on at the moment, and you can see the push coming from Al Ray at the moment. She's in the polka dot skin suit, meaning she set the fastest time up the aquarium climb. It's looking like she's going to set the fastest time up the leeward desert climb as well in Category 6. Now, these three riders, I think, could well and truly be capable of staying away, and it's going to be interesting to see what the riders in the group do behind, whether they look to close down. And actually, Van Hooling is on the front, and take a look at that. That is one big push. Now, she either wants to jump across to the group. Is anybody else going to go? Kolchinsky starts to respond. So does Biarhead and Guerra. Okay, this is it. Van Hooling is going to tow them across. There has been an attack up front, and Maria Holdcroft has put the hammer down. She's gone clear of Nicole Mayer. And Holdcroft, we have said, has been getting better and better and better. Al Ray and Holtman side by side on the climb. They've got 350 meters to go, and behind them the Category 5 race is coming. They may well not be caught in Category 6, may well be the first riders over the line today on the Sunday Race Club. It is not long. Al Ray is desperately trying to get over the line, and Fanuchikon Sarasuk is coming. She's coming up onto the wheels of Al Ray. Is it going to be Al Ray? She digs for the final time. Al Ray takes the win in Category 6.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. مشاهدينا الكرام، متابعينا في كل مكان، أهلا وسهلا بكم.
المتسابقة السورية اليوم صبا الراعي متواجدة في هذه الانطلاقة. لأول مرة تشاركنا صبا الراعي في سباقات الإي سبورت، وهذه هي البداية مع صبا الراعي متواجدة بشكل جيد في مقدمة السباق، والبداية للسبرنت الآن، وترفع السرعة الآن نوفلي كوكنن. نعم، بعد غياب نوفلي الآن تعود وتنافس على السبرنت، ولكن هناك خلفها كيثي كولينز، وأيضا المتسابقة كاترين من المتسابقة التي دخلت أولا. هانا كانت ضمن المنافسات أيضا على السبرنت. الآن بداية السبرنت وتنطلق في هذه اللحظات ميري كيتي ماكارثي. نيكول أيضا في الأمام. ميريل براوني تنافس اليوم على هذا السبرنت، وتستطيع، نعم أتوقع أنها سوف تستطيع أن تأخذ القميص الأخضر. هنا الفئة السادسة تعود إلى الكوكبة صبا الراعي، نعم بعدما قامت بالصعود الأول بالابتعاد واستطاعت بالفعل الحصول على القميص المنقط. هنا بداية الصعود للكوكبة، والآن تظهر غابرييلا غويرا وأيضا ماكارثي بطلة العالم. نشاهد الآن في هذا الصعود العمل الحقيقي، ونشاهد الأرقام العالية. 300 واط، نعم 300 واط تضغط فيه الآن غابرييلا غويرا في الأمام. ميري كيتي ماكارثي ترفع رتم السرعة هي الأخرى أيضا. الفئة الثانية ما زالت تسير بسرعة 30 كيلومتر في الساعة. الآن الأرضية مستوية في هذه الفئة، وننتظر أيضا وصول الفئة السادسة إلى خط النهاية. نعم الفئة السادسة تقترب إلى خط النهاية بعد قليل. فان سارسوك التايلاندي، ولكن صبا الراعي نعم تنهيها في آخر الأمتار بالمركز الأول. تأتي من الخلف فان سارسوك وصبا الراعي تنهيها بالمركز الأول، والاحتفال اليوم بالفوز بأول مشاركة للبطل العربي صبا الراعي.
So hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. And before we do anything else, if you've been observing Ramadan, Eid Mubarak. I hope you have a very bountiful and enjoyable Eid, and I hope you get some great company. Hopefully you're watching this with some great company. It is the monthly race final of the Sunday Race Club on MyWhoosh with myself, Matt Payne, and Emma Martin here. Emma, we've had an absolutely cracking month of racing with different time zones, different riders featuring and coming and joining us as well. It's been an absolute blast and it's been incredibly competitive. Now, I know you're bound to have stats that can back up that. I hope you have. But before we do that, let's have a look where we're heading today because we are going into California.
We are. We're a little bit like Led Zeppelin today. We are going to California. 35 kilometers of racing, 500 meters of climbing facing the women. And the last time the women raced this course in California was the 1st of December 2024. So today for the March finale, they come out of the start pen through the downtown LA sprint. They then continue to move through Area 52, up and over the Golden Gate sprint on to Hawk Hills. And that's a long climb from Area 52 to the Golden Gate Bridge. It's not steep, but it is continual into Hawk Hills. Now, the kicker really early on Hawk Hills before it levels off somewhat. 1.1 kilometers of climbing at 4.8% average gradient. They come down off the other side and then on to the Spring Road climb. Do you know what? It is 4.4% average gradient, but the kickers go to 10%.
It's going to be an interesting course, and we'll get into some of the tactics that can be deployed on that course very shortly indeed. Before we do that, let's take a look at our Category 6 teams who are waiting to start. In Category 6, we have 6 teams, as you can see, eligible. 2 teams of 5, 3 teams of 4, and 1 team of 3. Our teams with 5 riders, Kitty Hawk Racing and the Level Cycling Warriors. The teams with 4 is Intercontinental, along with Level Phoenix and the Spin Squad. Our team with 3 is the Chappie Coents Squad. Really interesting race field this, Emma.
Yeah.
And I think there's probably 2 or 3 squads that are likely to feature strongly here.
Well, last month in February, it was Intercontinental who took the team competition from Level Phoenix. But if you go on form this month, Kitty Hawk Racing versus the Spin Squad. Those are the 2 teams I think who are going to be in the mix today.
So it's time to go racing. It is our monthly final. The team competition comes into play. 3 riders to count their cumulative time. The team time, absolutely critical. 7 teams getting prizes in each of our 6 categories, along with the top 10 riders across the finishing line in those first 10 positions. The sprint competition is in play, as is the climbs competition. 4 sprints, 2 climbs, as well as the overall big prize fund today up for grabs. Now, let's run through the riders in a little bit more depth here. We've talked about how many riders are in the squad. So let's start off with the winners last month. Intercontinental, that's
Yes.
Flores, Driscoll, Hadjuk and Arias.
Yes, it was indeed. And this month, none of those have had top 5 finishing positions yet. They could well pull it out the bag for the final. Level Phoenix, they're in exactly the same position. And let's not forget, there's been a lot of movement through March in the categories from February to March. But Level Phoenix, Razzo, Botero, Londano and Hooker, they were second last month. This month, Hamilton, part and parcel of Kitty Hawk Racing, she's had a first and a third. Jaskalainen has had 2 fourths. Smithson's had a second and a third. And Holtman has had a second and a fifth. They are joined by Tanglian in that Kitty Hawks Racing squad.
And that means that they really are a force to be reckoned with. But we can't discount Spin Squad either.
No, because Rona May Joy-Mare, she's taken a top spot with a first. Sarasuk's been riding really strongly. She's got a second, 2 thirds and a fourth. So she's never been out of the top 5 this month. And Adriana Barco, she's had a 4th and 2 fifths. Solazano, well, she's also a strong rider, part and parcel of that Spin Squad.
And then we've got Level Cycling Warriors. So Samuel Chalbois, Kirchner, Giuliano, and Illustrate. Another set of riders that you can't discount from being up there in the mix. And the Chappie Coins squad. Ruby de Gross and Voss as well. I mean, it really is a strong set of teams out and racing today. And I think that's reflected already in the fact that we've got so many splits. We've got 4 distinct sets of riders on the road at the moment already, as these riders are pushing onwards in Category 6.
And it's worth mentioning in Category 6 throughout March, there have been 4 different winners. So each qualifier in Category 6 has had a different winner.
So different winners. And in those top 5 positions, top 10 positions, has there been much change in there? Or is it the same faces? Or because we've got two squads with basically most of those top 5 results.
Yeah, there's been a lot of consistency in places. So as I mentioned, Sarasuk's had 4 top 5s. Barco's had 3 top 5s. Others have had 2 top 5s. So there has been some repetition of those names in that top 5. 11 riders in total took top 5 spots in Category 6 this month.
So that start list of 27 riders underway. The riders heading out already. And as you can see, top right-hand side of your screen, that's where the radar view is. The riders that we're focused on at the moment, that is Sarasuk that we are in with. They are the riders in the centre of that radar view, top right. Whereas the riders are that have been distanced are shown a little bit further behind. This, of course, is our women's race. We will be moving on to the men's race because of the timing. All this month in March, it does mean that the women's race and the men's races overlap. So Emma will be bringing you this race in its entirety. I will go missing in action part way through, and whilst I'm MIA, not only will I be getting a coffee and maybe a snack on the way through, not ice cream, but I'll be going and making a start on the men's race when Emma joins me for that a little bit later. You, of course, get to watch all this, and then you can rewind and start the men's race all over again. So a whole evening's entertainment with 12 race categories. Speaking of categories, let's move to Category 5 in the women's race field. There are 6 teams who could qualify here today. You can see them on your screens. With 5 riders, it is the Black Panthers. All the other teams have 4 riders each. The Cycle Chicks, Pedal Dancers, Phoenix, Velocity Vipers, and Wheels of Fire. So very evenly matched in terms of strength in the squad, in terms of numbers in Category 5. However, which of these 6 teams is going to come out on top is going to be a tough call. We're going to dive into that in a second. We're into those final seconds. We're into the countdown. It is for the final time in March. The timer for Category 5 in the women's race to go and head out onto the course. Here we go. Race time. 35 kilometers, 500 meters of ascent in front of the riders, and another blisteringly quick start out from those pens. Big sprint on the front.
There is indeed, and it's Ange Quapp actually who's putting in the effort on the front. Angelina Roa is there as well. Both really strong riders who have done the business throughout March. The pace sits up. The rest of the pack looking like they're going to come back together again. But that was a strong start out of the pen. Martina Eroviec is in there as well. Now, let's go back to that conversation whilst these riders come out of the pen strongly about the team competition. Last month, the pedal dancers took top spot from Cycle Chicks. Now, yet again, a little like Category 6, they've had riders move around. So Quapp, Pilar, Gentili and Lloyd, they are the Cycle Chicks this month. Arias, Jones, Agadello and Montoya, the pedal dancers who took the win last month. For me, however, they're going to have really stiff competition because the Black Panthers, Valencia's had a second, Roa's had 2 fifths, Mongeli's had a 4th and a 5th, Becerra and Zabala round out the Black Panthers team. They're going strongly, have strength and depth. The Velocity Vipers, Marshall's had a 3rd, Bago has had a 1st, 2nd and 2 4th places. So she is looking really strong. They are joined by Ella Vink and Cynthia Hoyas. And the Wheels of Fire, let me just say, every single member of the Wheels of Fire this month so far have had top 5 positions. Zugala has had a 3rd, Lopez a 1st, a 3rd and a 4th. Giraldo's had a 2nd and Erevex had a 3rd. For me, they have got to be the favourite squad in Category 5.
Well, I think it is going to come down to what that third counter can do. So remember, our teams have to finish 3 riders to be in with a chance of taking away the team prizes. Finish those 3 riders. Your cumulative time for those 3 counting riders are key. They then give you the team time, that team time, fastest team time, taking away the win. And that third counter's time, particularly if it's a close race, is going to be very, very critical indeed. Now, this course, Emma, there are 2 categorized climbs at the end
Yes.
of the course in totality. However, between about 7.5 and 10k, we've got that sort of 2.5k lump, that drag that comes just before Area 52. Really is a good spot to weaken riders' legs because, as you said, after Area 52, you've got that long drag. When the racing is on this type of course, if you look back historically, which I'm sure you've done, is this the sort of course where the gaps are close between the riders at the end and therefore as a team result it's going to be close? Or is it the sort of thing where because we've got that big climb at the end, it's actually your third counter is utterly key?
The climb at the end does make your third counter absolutely key. The climb at the end is the thing that puts the time gaps in. It's not a short climb. It's 6.3 kilometers in length with an average gradient of 4.4%, which doesn't sound very much, but there are a number of steps on that climb. The first hits 10%, the second hits 8%. In fact, it levels off substantially towards the top once you go through that polka dot banner, and that final 500 meters, you are still climbing, but actually it is pretty much nowhere near the ascent that you have lower down that climb. So for me, it really is about time. It's about how much your first place rider in the team can put in as a gap to the next set of riders, but also how close your third rider is.
And that last climb, it is long, isn't it? I mean, we're talking, this is not of the magnitude, it's much, much longer than we see the Hawk Hills climb, and it's a lot tougher climb. We'll go into a bit more detail a little bit later on in the show about the 2 climbs and how instrumental they can be. Let's first take a look at our category 4 teams. 7 teams with a chance of being in with a team prize here today. 1 team of 5, the team of 5 are the Rhino squad down at the bottom there. They have 5 riders. All the rest of the teams, La Rosa Blanca, Mocha Motions, Pedal Queens, Petit 4, Power of Red, and Speedbusters, all with 4 riders. So again, very evenly matched in terms of numbers in the teams. We'll take a look at the strength in depth of those squads in a second, but it's time for our riders to head out onto the course in category 4 in our monthly final on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. The field of riders in those red jerseys heading out and away. Emma, this for me is relatively clear cut at the top.
Ooh.
But then 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th place teams, uber close.
Do you think?
In comparison, yes.
Oh, we're going to have to debate that. Now, just let me caveat. Category 4, really interesting. The top 2 teams from February, completely gone. They have all moved up. There's been a big rejiggle in category 4 and completely new teams. So it's not like we've got a defending team coming in to the March final. Now we're in with Musa Al-Mansouri at the moment. Al-Mansouri, one of the individual riders, but let's not discount her because actually she's a great climber and this could well suit her and she could well put a spanner in the works of some of these teams today around points.
Indeed, and I suspect also it's one of those things, sometimes being that individual rider, when everybody else is focused on those team tactics and having to look after each other, and the energy that you expend watching not just your own performance, but what your team are doing, that can really impact on the performance you put out. Whereas Musa Al-Mansouri's just got one rider to worry about, herself. Just get out there and ride and race. And we know, as you say, on a long climb like we've got at the end, it's a tough course. This, I make no mistakes. It might look flat early on. It's not. It is going to really, really test the riders. It's quick because it's flatter.
It is a quick course. Now let's just have a little look at those teams. The Rhinos. You said they were the only team of 5, and they probably are the favourites. I think
Definitely my favourite for this.
Hadlock has had a 2nd and 2/3 this month. Randy Gino has been riding so strongly. She's had a 4th and a 5th. And she's taken 2 of the sprint competitions as well. Barragan has had a second, a third, and a fourth. And Solange Bonilla has had a first place. Let's not discount Gina Van Rossum either, who is the fifth member of that squad, because she took the climbing competition the other week.
I mean, they are the big super team at the moment. If you look at the results, and if you look at the names, but
they have competition.
There is competition, and of course, you don't need much to go wrong or a wrong tactical move, and even if you are the best team out there, you're going to be in trouble. I definitely think. I mean, it's great to see the regular teams there. The La Rosa Blanca team are back once again. Gisela Alze, Taylor Carter, and of course Rosa Herrera, who's on our screens at the moment. And I would put them in with a top 5. I'm not sure I put them on a top 2 today.
Ooh.
But I think they could spring a surprise. And we know that, as with all our riders, that they're going to work as a team.
Can I just say a big thank you to Rosa Herrera, because she is the crochet queen of my world. Anybody who has not been on my social media feed this week, please get on biking_Emma on Instagram and see the crocheted Emma commentator doll that Rosa has produced. I call that going above and beyond being a bike racer.
So not only were you the first lead UCI commentator for the UCI at World Championships, and the only one in Zurich in Switzerland, but you're also now probably the first commentator ever to have a crochet doll of themselves made by somebody.
I bet I'm not.
If anybody knows of another commentator with a crochet doll made not by themselves, by somebody else, do let us know. I'd really love to know.
I do think you're next. I did get a little bit of a message to say that she had worked out how to make your glasses.
Oh, my goodness.
So that was the sticking point, apparently. But anyway, Rosa, you are an absolute star. Not only can you do the business on the bike, it's just brilliant. Now, let me just say also, before we go to category 3, the Power of Red are the team for me to watch today against the Rhinos. Ada Hulper, 4th and a 5th this month. Kawazuska's had a 3rd. Cisciola's had a 2nd. They are on form. They're joined by Danny Giraldo. They are the ones to watch.
Let's see if Emma's prediction is right. Will they be the riders challenging the Rhinos in Category 4? In Category 3, 6 teams can qualify here. Key teams in here to watch out for. With 5 riders, 4 of our teams are Chain Chasers, the Sunday Crew, the Wanderers, and the Yellow Squad, all with 5 riders. 4 riders, well, the Profiterolling squad might only have 4 riders along with the Freewheeling Spirits, but Profiterolling will take away the prize for the best team name associated with confectionery or cake. And they may well be one of the riders' teams up there. Category 3 underway. This is a brilliant race category. I've really been impressed by Category 3 this month. I've loved watching them, not just the early part where I get to watch them live, but also when I've been watching back afterwards.
Oh, the Category 3 are great. And let's just not forget that Profiterollings are indeed a petit four.
Oh,
sorry,
I didn't know that.
I just couldn't help that. Anyway, for me, I have to say, Profiterolling actually is my pick to watch today in this team competition. Bridget Kiddle has had 2 seconds and a 4th. Sarah Roach has had a 5th. Lee Sophie Ramett went phenomenally well last month, and she could be keeping her powder dry for the finale. Eva Essler, never discount her either. I think that quad are absolutely going to be brilliant. Rebecca Johnson, she is part and parcel of the Freewheeling Spirits. Lennonins had 2 third places on that team. Gemma Daniels, Barbara Bulwara, that makes that group of 4 riders. It's a big climb today. It could well suit Johnson, you know, as well as Daniels, so don't discount them. I think the Wanderers could well be in the mix. Brittany Litton's had a 3rd this month. Walkenhurst had a 1st. We know Kim Bonilla is strong. We know Philippa Hill is strong. And Angelica Altamarino as well makes up the 5 on that Wanderers squad. They took 2nd last month in February. You know, so I really think whilst Category 3 could well be quite open in the team competition. My pick has got to be Profiterolling versus the Wanderers.
And we've got to say honourable mentions. The one team's name that was on there that don't have enough riders in to get the 3 qualifiers is the Recorba Collective. And I've got to say a big well done to Kate McLeod. She's a fantastic rider. So let's see if she is on our start list, which she is. Is she in person on the start line? We're going to have to see. I think, if I remember rightly, she's been out doing a massive ride.
The gravel race, actually,
Yes.
in Italy, over 8 hours she was out for.
I knew it was long. I didn't realize it was 8 hours long.
I would have to put a big question in as to whether she's taken to the start line today, but we will find out.
We'll have a hunt.
Who is on the start line is indeed Brittany Litton, and you can see her there in the garage door wide open, the night sky out behind her. She's tightly in the pack, and for me, she's a really strong rider. She is one to watch today in this final.
And I think the top 3 already in the qualifiers this month. Her teammate Walkenhurst, always a strong rider. I think it's a really, really strong squad. I'm going to be really interested to see whether we get riders like the Chain Chasers able to mix it up with them. And of course, which of these squads, because the numbers are one thing, but riding as a team, and we know, for example, that the squad around Liston are very, very tight, very strong. Having a great team environment, it makes such a difference to the riders. Having basically a bunch of friends who you're racing for, it pulls those extra few percent out.
Oh, it absolutely does. And the fact that you've got, the riders will be communicating on those teams. They'll be encouraging each other. They'll have strategies. They'll have plans. They'll have tactics that they will roll out. It will indeed be a team effort. And that, for me, is absolutely key. And for these riders, that's why they love the finals every month.
Indeed, and it's the same, of course, in the men's race, which will be coming up after men's race. And the women's races follow exactly the same format. Team competitions at the end of the month, qualifiers all the way through into our end of month finals. Don't forget, you can join us next week. Come down and get onto the start line if you're thinking of having a go. Whether you are a real top-class tester from the UK or whether you are a rider who has been out mountain biking, whether you're brand new to riding and have never ridden a race before. Go through the rule sets, go through a look and check out what you need to do to be on board. Jump on board. You never know, you might be in the big prize list. You might just get some of the best racing you've ever had.
Well, there are all sorts of riders on the Sunday Race Club. Lorena Beltram, we can see in the middle of this pack here, 1 or 2 riders just distance off the back as they go down into the downtown LA sprint. Beltram starts to pick up the pace there. But now is a fantastic time to join for April, because you've got a week to take a look at the rule set, get your power passport test done, get yourself on the start line for the April Sunday Race Club. I can tell you, Cornelia Engstrom, really 5 or 6 years she's been riding a bike. She's an absolute esports expert. She's in category 1, and it is something you can do. You do not have to start in your 20s or your teenage years. You can join in your 30s or your 40s or even your 50s and beyond, and still come and join the Sunday Race Club and be fit and fast.
And we have riders right the way through into their 70s plus racing on the Sunday Race Club. So do jump on board. Make sure you go to MyWhoosh.com, download the At the Latest update is out. So don't forget, make sure that you get the latest updates, update it on to your computer, your iPhone, your tablet, however you are going to jump on board and ride. Don't forget, of course, it's not just about racing on MyWhoosh. There's lots of great events, rides, coaching, video on demand coaching, live coaching. Emma's going to be back on there probably on Monday.
That's tomorrow.
Is that tomorrow? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And I think
Holly Bergen as well.
Holly Bergen is on our screens. She is indeed another of the coaches. And I think, Emma, you've got a little bit of a collaboration going on between you two.
Yes, Holly and I have a coaching collaboration going on in April. You want to get fit? Well, jump on board. Holly and I are joining forces next month to offer you a FTP development program for April. So Holly, I believe, is putting some information together and it'll be out very shortly. Keep your eyes peeled. Follow Holly Bergin on Facebook or Instagram. Follow me on Facebook or Instagram and you will get all that information very, very shortly. Very focused program across Holly's and mine's live coaching to get you developed, fit and fast for the beginning of May.
And it's an all-round racing, so not focusing on one thing in particular. It's an all-round race program that you're aiming for there.
Yeah, it's an all-round development program
Okay.
for you as a rider.
Okay, it probably could do with that personally, but if had you said it was for sprints like we've just seen, maybe I'd have been a little bit more likely to be there on the start line.
I bet you only do training sessions that you like, don't you?
Don't do training sessions full stop. What are you on about? Just go ride my bike and enjoy it.
I mean,
and race and enjoy
there
it.
is one thing about riding and training the things that you like, but you're also supposed to train your weaknesses as well. That's for me.
Well, in that case, I might as well just do everything because I'm good at everything.
That for me is the benefit of live coaching because you're there with other people and they are motivating you to do something that, you know what, you may well give up on your own.
Well, that's, yeah, that sounds like my training. So don't forget, jump on board. Make sure you join the Sunday Race Club. Make sure you download the latest update, particularly if you're a triathlete. Super Tri is coming. In fact, I do believe the man who is responsible for taking MyWhoosh forward and has been for a little while now. Mr. Matt Smithson was actually down at Super Tri in the UK. He was, and not only was he doing that, he went to Bike Park Wales beforehand. I would have loved to see Matt going over the jumps, so it'll be really interesting. I think I think Rod Loxley's with him as well, the pair of them.
I love Bike Park Wales.
Bike Park Wales is amazing.
I know.
Anyway, let's not talk about things that we absolutely love. Let's dive back into the racing.
Excuse me, we really love this as well.
That is true. You can see on our screen, category 3, you can see in amongst our blue jerseys, the green skin suit of our sprint leader. The sprint competition and the climb competition, we're not going to focus on them too much today because it is the monthly finals. It's the big payday for the teams. It's the only time in the month when we have that team competition. But the sprints and climbs are continuing onwards.
Well, I tell you, something that is what's very interesting with this category 3 race is the pace. It's a much steadier pace. They are wide across the road. We haven't seen the stretch that we've seen on the other groups.
Be very interesting to see if category 2 follow their example, or will they be going for it from the gun? Now, there are 8 teams racing that can qualify for the team competition today in category 2. We have 2 teams of 5, 4 teams of 4, and 2 teams of 3, the bare minimum to qualify, giving us our 8 teams. Teams with 5 is a core, along with the Velo Valkyries. Our teams with 4 riders, the Garottas do pedal, the Globetrotters, along with the Racing Roos and Velocity Vikings. Our teams with 3, Purebred Daisies and the Racing Rockets. It's time to rocket off from our start. Time for category 2 to hit the roads of California. Let's see who can descend like a Led Zeppelin, who can climb up that stairway to heaven faster than Jimmy Page on a fretboard.
Well, Matilda Field is the rider we're in with at the moment. It's her stats on the screen. She's tight and parcelled in that group at the moment with Engstrom, Thompson, Nordin, Gothlander, who took the sprint competition last week. You know, she came up from category 3 and she targeted that sprint competition and she took it. Good effort, that's what I say. Bannerjay, Haag is in there as well as Prado. The pack have come as a much steadier state out the start as we saw earlier. So category 2, steady state, playing the cards close to the chest. Hayley Simmons on the front of the group. Now, for me, this is a really interesting category. This has been the closest racing category this month. 14 riders have had top 5 positions over the month. In the February final, the Purebred Daisies took the win, but only by 16 seconds from core. That's 16 seconds separating the top 3 riders' times added together from the Purebred Daisies to the top 3 from core. Nothing.
Yeah. When you're looking at a race of this distance, times 3, a 16-second gap is nothing. Do you think this is going to play out that way this time round? Because there's been a bit of shuffling, and there are some real contenders who maybe don't have the same level of riders as the star riders. There's quite a lot of star riders
Yeah,
and a
we've had
number
riders
of
move up.
who've gone. We've got a number of riders left, and I think it's changed the dynamics in between all these different teams. That's
Oh,
what I'm
I
trying to
agree.
say.
I agree. We have had riders move up, and the riders here in Category 2, 32 riders on the start sheets today. Now, Core, Kalman's had a third, Fields had a fifth, Giovanni's had a third and a fifth. They're joined by Kolkowitz and Gonzalez Rua. Gonzalez Rua has a phenomenal sprint on her. As to whether she's going to go so well on the long climb, that's a different question. The purebred daisies, Jenny Eck, talking about climbing, she's taken 2 of the climbing competitions this month. She can climb. So can Pia Kuma. And Van der Vliet is a strong athlete as well. Now, for me, the 2 teams that are really going to get in the mix today, the Velo Valkyrie, Engstrom's had a third and 2 fourths, Haag's had a second, Van Shaw's had a fourth and a fifth. They're joined by Karamani and Manshandi. The Velocity Vikings, Embring, is joined by Svardström, who's taken 2 sprint competitions this month. Gothlander's taken a sprint competition, and Lundin's had a fifth. I think Velo Valkyrie are going to be in the mix. Purebred Daisies will be there. Core will be there. But the Velocity Vikings could get into the spots as well.
And it's not a super hilly course. There's quite a lot of climbing, 500 meters. That's relatively a lot. It's not the biggest by any stretch of the imagination on a Sunday race club. But for me, one of the things that really comes to the fore here in this Category 2 race is that we've got riders who haven't scored top 5s necessarily this month, who I would often expect to be right in there.
Well, let me just start by saying there's less than half the climbing today than there was in the February final.
Yeah.
So it really is. Whilst we think 500 metres is a lot of climbing, there was 1,018 metres
That
of
was a
climbing
particularly
in the final.
arduous course, though.
It was a climber's course. Today it's a bit more balanced. And whilst we talked about sprinters and other types of riders, it may well not be a discreet climber who takes the win.
Okay. Be really interesting to see how that plays out in all of our categories today and compare it from category 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and into category 1. The last riders to go, these are our elite riders. The elite riders, the top of the tree, including our world champion, Mary-Kate McCarthy. She is in a team which has 4 riders, 2 teams with 4 riders. Ablock International, they have 4, along with the Sweat Sensations. We have 4 teams of 3, the Cat 1 Outcast, the fully calibrated squad, Supernova, and the Thundercats. But all of the riders in category 1 capable of being the best, capable of being out there and putting in a team performance that could take the win. And with 6 teams, it's about which team is going to finish right up at the top and where. It's our last race field on our last race of March. Last women's race of my 3rd year on MyWhoosh. In fact, it's time to go racing. Let's go hit the roads of California. Category 1 are away. It's time to see which of these elite superstars are going to be setting the pace and who is going to be playing it cagey, maybe saving their powder for the hills that come towards the end of the course. We've got the world champion in here, part of Ablock International, Emma. Mary-Kate McCarthy, I mean, we're going to run out of superlatives for how good she is at some point.
Well, we will. But let's just talk about the teams just for this second. So Ablock International, Hermansen, Holdcroft, McCarthy and Larson. Now, McCarthy, 3 firsts and a second this month. Holdcroft, 2 thirds and a fourth. Both of those riders regularly in the top 5, joined by Larson and Hermansen, both strong riders and able to back it up. Cat 1 Outcast, Filensky is the sprint queen of category 1. Yeah, absolutely, hands down, week in, week out, she takes that competition. She's joined by Dana Wagner and Tiffany Penner. Wagner, so dominant when she's been in category 2. She's adjusting to category 1 and adjusting well. Alberg, Van Hooling and Gallegos fully calibrated. Again, a strong squad. Supernova, Snova, Tomasi, who for me one day is going to win a Sunday race club. I tell you, I just love watching her race. I love it when she comes up. She's so calm. She's so considered. And she's just learning the platform and getting stronger. Bassoni is part and parcel of that Supernova squad. However, Ablock International's main competition, the Sweat Sensations, Velt Fua Bruni has been joined by Nicole Mayer this month. So Fua has had a second, a third, and 2 fourths. Bruni's had a 4th and 2 fifths. Nicole Mayer's had a 5th place as well. They are really, really going to be competitive today. The other squad, the Thundercats, Guerra has had a 1st, 2 seconds, and a 3rd. Kolchinsky's had a 4th place this month. Bjarhead is always there or thereabouts. I have to say, I do know Guerra has not been well this week, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. If you've been following her Strava feed, she's been doing recovery rides all week. She could well find, sometimes actually when you give your body a rest, you come out and you surprise yourself.
I fully expect to see Gabby Guerra giving it absolutely everything. I don't think she's capable of doing anything, but she'll have been rested. She'll have been getting this planned. And as a coach on MyWhoosh, you will know exactly what she should have done to be in readiness for this. Really interesting, I think, is going to be how this plays. Ablock International have promised for a long time to be the team up there in that top spot, but for a long time, Sweat Sensations and Thundercats have seemed to me to be the team that have really been dominant in some ways.
Well, yes, but I also think I have to caveat this with is this elite category of women have done a lot of racing this month.
They've done a lot of racing up until last weekend.
So, well, I'll tell you something. Either having had a week's rest and getting ready for the Sunday Race Club, well, it could be fireworks in California today.
Well, let's see who is going to set this light. Who's going to be absolutely flying down the roads? We're going to see who will be able to take this out. Quick reminder, all the riders, individual categories, all have their own coloured jerseys. There are a few exceptions. When you are leading in the sprint competition, you have the green skin suit. When you're leading in the polka dot competition, you get the polka dot skin suit. If you are our world champions, that's Jason Osborne and Mary Kate McCarthy. Mary Kate McCarthy, our women's world champion on eSports, taking that in Abu Dhabi on the MyWhoosh World Champs. Out there in person, well, you get to wear that rainbow jersey. You can see that to the left of your screen. In fact, look at that. Mary Kate McCarthy just doing a very nice job of dropping to the back of the group for us there as she comes through. Now, Emma, one of the things with Category 1, we have seen, because they have been racing incredibly hard on Saturday and Sunday for the past month, when they've come to the Sunday, we've seen, I wouldn't say a pedestrian start.
A steady state start to the race.
It has been lower than the norm, let's say, their initial start to the racing. They're lower pace than the norm. And that has not been reflected by the rest of the categories. And I think that really is indicative of that Saturday racing that they've done.
I also think you have to remember the different categories. There are 6 individual races here, and each of those race fields have different tactics, different teams, and different plans. You will see regularly, I mean, not very long ago, we saw Category 2, actually the winning time in Category 2 was 1 second slower than the winning time in Category 1. And we've seen Category 3 times over the last 3 or 4 weeks finishing faster than Category 2. So it has all mixed up. And that's been because of how those individual races have played out, not because the wrong people are in the wrong category.
Indeed. I'd agree 100%. I'd agree with your statement earlier on. Bridget Flensky is the sprint queen of MyWhoosh at the moment, because Bridget Flensky, with the fastest time, you saw her sprinting away from that group. That's not necessarily an attack. I won't put it past her one of these days to sprint clear and then stay clear. But Bridget Flensky really targeting the sprint competitions, doing so again, taking the green skin suit and taking the lead in that competition. So, as Emma said, 6 categories up and racing. All the categories have their own competitions. As you can see, we have the winners on the screen of our sprint winners of the Tel Marib sprinters who go in and through. And those each category has its own winner. Now, we have got Randy Gino actually setting the fastest time on the downtown LA sprint. Here we go.
There
Here it
we
is.
go.
That's
Right.
more like it. So the Downtown LA Sprint, the first sprint of the day. Bridget Flensky taking the win in Category 1, but not the fastest time. That actually goes to Randy Gino of Category 4.
It does indeed, from the Rhinos. So Filensky in Cat 1, Haag in 2, Montoya in 3, Gino in 4, Roa in 5, and Hamilton in 6. Those are the winners of the sprint competition for the Downtown LA Sprint segment. Now, there are 3 sprint segments on this course today. Each segment will have a winner in each category, and the overall points combined on those sprints give the overall sprint winner.
So the more sprints that our riders do, the the more points they score, the further up the points standings they are.
And it happens the same in the climbing competition. 2 climbs today, the Hawk Hills climb and the Spring Road climb, being the final climb of the day. It's 6.3 kilometres long. Now, Matt, I have a question for you, because I know at some point you are going to go and start the men's race. But I've had a little bit of a look on MyWhoosh info, because that site is the repository of all... not all statistical information, but a lot of statistical information and interesting information. Now, I can tell you that only 4 women have ever gone sub 14 minutes on the Spring Road climb.
That's our final climb of the day.
It is. Can you tell me who they are?
How many again?
4.
World champion Mary Kate McCarthy. Her nemesis, stroke key adversary at the moment, Gabby Guerra.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm torn. I'm torn between super climber Kolczynski, Bruni, and Fua. But it's more recent, isn't it? That we've been on this course. Therefore, I'm going to say Merle Bruni and Catherine Fua.
You have it correct. Well, I'll tell you something. Just before I ask Matt one final question, there's a big attack going on at the moment. Tiffany Penner and Francesca Tomasi are putting in the power here. Amelia Velt is actually covering this move for the Sweat Sensations. Really interesting here. Bruni on her wheel, bringing it back, and Nicole Mayer is in the mix as well. Now, this is a big push here. Early in this Category 1 race, they're only at 5.3 kilometres, but now they are sat up as Velt has joined them. The group is going to come back together again. And I am going to go back to that Spring Road climb. No, I have to, because I've got to ask you one final question. Because 4 women, you got it right, who have been sub 14 minutes. 1 woman only has ever been sub 13 minutes. The world champion, Kate McCarthy, 12 minutes 58 seconds. Can you tell me how many Cat 1 men have also been sub 13 minutes?
No.
It's a hard question, wasn't it?
How many?
Yeah.
Well, physiologically, in theory, it should be, and the way the dynamics work, it should be more. And they're bigger race fields on the Sunday Race Club, which is when we seem to get our fastest times on the segments generally. So I'd say more, double it. Got the absolute guess. Double it.
Double what?
Double the number we had at the way, 4, 8.
8. 8 men sub. Do you know, you're so close?
Well, as a guess, it's
only
8.
7 men.
Just doubled the number that you gave me earlier.
7 Category 1 men have been sub 13 minutes. Kate McCarthy holds the 8th fastest time overall between the men and the women on the Spring Road climb. Well, that's climbing stats for you today.
That's it. Today's climbing stats brought to you courtesy of Emma and her love of stats. The final climb of the day, it's a long climb. It's 6.3 kilometres. It finishes just before we get to the summit. Before that, we will see the sprint competition wrapping up. The third of our sprints is the Golden Gate sprint. That will be the one that decides where and when those points are coming out. This is the Golden Gate. This is at 22.4K. This is the run for the line. Jessica Hamilton absolutely dominating the sprints competition here once again. And if Filensky has a challenger in terms of sprint wins, it is Hamilton, surely.
It is, and I love it, because Jessica Hamilton is the sprint goddess from Category 6. Bridget Filensky is the sprint queen in Category 1.
There we go. either ends of the spectrum, whatever standard you are racing at, wherever you are in your cycling journey, there's great racing to be had. Now, just taking a little bit of a look at our riders in the mix here. It's just a little bit spread out at the moment here, but we're just taking a look down at the key riders here in category 6 as the bunch makes contact
Let me give
here.
you
It's just starting to come back together again.
10 riders in this group in category 6. So let's remember 27 riders on the start sheets, 10 riders now at the 22.9 kilometre marker. Hamilton, Sargentson, Mayer, Jaskalainen, Samuel, Charlebois, Smithson, Sarasuk, Holtman and Johnson are those 10 riders in that leading group in category 6.
So category 6 already at that 22.5 kilometre marker. They're about to head over to the Hawk Hills, much further behind at the moment, having covered 7.5 kilometres so far, and just about to hit the riser in earnest. This is the first of our climbs. It's not a categorized climb, but this is about 2K, 2.5K long. And this is the first chance where we get to see who's maybe feeling that little bit frisky, who's wanting to go on the attack to make it hard early on, maybe break this group down in numbers, and maybe just shake it up in terms of categories as well. So on the front at the moment, you can just see opening up, you can see that we have got Mayer along with Bruni and Bassoni opening up the throttles. Interestingly, early moves we were seeing from Penner, from the Cat 1 Outcast there, 3-rider team. Supernova's Bassoni right up there on the front here, pushing on as well. I do think if you're in a team of 3, it's well worth making this hard early and see if you can shed some of the riders from those bigger teams.
Yeah, and that's key, isn't it? Interesting to see Velt doing the work for the Sweat Sensations in terms of closing that gap down. She's obviously the rider they're going to send down the road today to close the gaps. Taking a look here, we've got one rider off the back of this Category 1 group. We've got Falensky in the green skin suit just off the back as well now on the climb. I think for her, as normal, she's going to concentrate on that sprint competition. Wagner and Penner, her 2 teammates in the Cat 1 Outcasts, will be left in this group. But this group, there's not a big push on the front. The maximum gradient of this climb is 5%, and it's coming towards the top now where it settles at around 2. The group mainly still together. We've lost the 2 riders off the back of the group, and I think that's what's going to stay as they now head down into Area 52, and then they transition to the Golden Gate Sprint. We're going through the Golden Gate Sprint at the moment is Category 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 riders. Well, actually, it's an awful lot more. Take a look at that. That pack of Category 5 riders is huge. Roa and Gavaria Arrayas are indeed the 2 battling for those sprint points, and it's Arrayas in the green skin suit.
So Category 6 now having been racing for nearly 45 minutes. They're hitting the first of our climbs, hitting the Hawk Hills climb here, the 1K kicker that takes our riders up and over the top of the climb. Category 5 are heading on in towards that same area. Category 1 at 7.5K. It's time for me to press pause on my viewing of this. I'm going to be resuming it later on. Make sure you subscribe to MyWhoosh on YouTube if you want to be notified every time we go live, not just with the Sunday Race Club, but with all of the shows, with the Inside the Ride podcast, etc. Do make sure you subscribe. Enjoy the rest of the racing here with Emma. I'm going to make my way across to the men's race start. When you finish watching the women's, do come and join me. And you can watch from the start and catch all of the men's. Don't leave now. They're just getting to the climbs. It's all getting good. Thank you very much for having me. I'll see you with a bit of luck next week.
Well, as Matt leaves the studio, the women continue to race. We said 10 riders now in the leading group in Category 6, 18 riders in that leading group in Category 5. It's a strong racing group as they go into the Hawk Hills climb. It's the first categorized climb of the day, and all 18 riders in that Category 5 group. Well, let me do you a quick run through, shall I? It is Arrayas from Roa. She is in there as well. Montoya is there, Erevek, Becerra, Zabala, Quap, Geraldo, Mongeli, Bago is there, Lopez, Tejeros, Alzat, Zaluga is there, Marshall is there, Ferron, Narvaez and Vink. Those are the 18 riders in the group. And at the moment, it's Palma Mongeli who is doing the work on the front of the group. Angelina Roja is there as well as Martina Erevek. She's in the mix. So is Katie Bago. But the group is now stretched back down the climb here in Hawk Hills, California. It's a 1.1 kilometer climb. It is not long, but the average gradient is 4.8, and this is the steepest section at 9% right here, right now. Mongeli is climbing strongly. Now, I'll tell you something, Erevek is kicking on here as well as Bago. The riders moving up. They're coming onto the back of the group here in Category 6, Flores and Kirchner being passed now by the leaders of Category 5. Category 6 starting 5 minutes before Category 5. Palma Mongeli, we drop in with her. We can see the work on her face. We can see the effort going in. The high cadence continuing from Mongeli here. She looks comfortable on the climb. She's got company now with Roja, Erevek and Bago, the 4 riders. Looking like those 4 riders going to go clear. Could well be a 4-rider group going down the other side here of the Hawk Hills. They've got the transition through towards the Spring Road climb, and then that 6.3 kilometer climb to the finish line today. Well, it's looking like 18 riders becoming 4 on that Hawk Hills climb in Category 5. Back at the 11-kilometer marker, this is Category 1. We've got Van Hooling, Bruni, Snova, Holdcroft, Wagner, Hermansen, Bjarhead, McCarthy, all in this group. Filensky is off the back. She's 31 seconds back, and for her, this is going to be all about that sprint competition. Well, I'll tell you something, someone's gone off the front of this group here. The push is on here in Category 1. They are in Area 52. This is the Area 52 sprint, and there's been a big push off the front of the Category 1 group. Now, Alexi Snova, that was, who went off the front of the group. McCarthy's come towards the front as well, but Snova pushing on strongly. I don't know whether she's going to have done enough to take the points away from Filensky, because Filensky may well be 30 seconds back, but I can guarantee you she is going to be sprinting hard for those segments and the overall sprint competition. Well, the green skin suit at the moment is on the shoulders of Snova. The question is it going to change? So Snova comes through at the moment. These are live results here on the Sunday Race Club, but with the fastest time in Category 1. Not the fastest time overall, but it is the fastest time in Category 1. Haag setting the fastest time in Category 2. Montoya in Category 3. Pekka Kova takes it from Gino this time. Those two are having a big battle for the overall competition in Category 4. Arias in Category 5 and Hamilton doing the business in Category 6. Well, Filensky, I can confirm, has come through. The watts per kilo are indeed higher, but Snova having the benefit of that group to launch from. So she has indeed picked up 5 points to Filensky's 4. It's going to be a close competition between those two in that sprint competition. It's all going to be about the Golden Gate sprint a little further down the road to see who takes the overall sprint title in Category 1 today. So Category 5 and Category 6, the two categories up and over now, the Hawk Hills. Category 1 at 12.7 kilometres. This is a 35-kilometre race. And to give you a bit of a heads up, the winning time last year in December, when we were last on the course in California, was around 60 minutes, which gives you an indication in Category 1 of the expected finishing time. This is Category 4 at the moment we are in with, and they are on the Hawk Hills climb. It's a big group in here. Wow. Krasova is here. Pekakova is here. Van Rossum is in the mix. This is a strong, strong group. Kawazuska is here. She's had a third place, part and parcel of that Power of Red team. Elos is here. Hadlock is here. Collins is here. Kathy Collins has been having a great month so far. 2 fourth places for the Mocha Motion squad. For Collins, she's part and parcel of that team with Elos, Coe, and Wilhelm. Still a big group of Category 4 riders, so they're coming to the top now of the Hawk Hill climb. And unlike Category 5, where we saw the group split and 4 riders look as though they were going to go away, this is going to be a big group going over the top. Very, very shortly, we'll be able to give you some numbers as to the size of the group. 1, 2, 3. If you're trying to count it, yeah, I'm going to wait till they go over the top. Click the segment. They go underneath the polka dot banner that signifies the end of the Hawk Hills climb. It'll tell us in a short while who set the fastest time up the climb, but it'll also give us the size of the group. So Pekka Kova and Van Rossum battling it out here. Pekka Kova goes under ahead of Van Rossum. Who's going to take the polka dot skin suit? Van Rossum does. Great job from Gina Van Rossum to take that polka dot skin suit. Means she was further back in the group than Pekka Kova at the bottom of the climb, meaning she takes the faster time. Van Rossum from Pekka Kova, from Gino. Hadlock is in there as well. 1, 2, 3. Let me take a look. I'm counting 17 riders in that leading group in Category 4 at the moment. Rosa Herrera, who's just gone through, as well as Natalia Idzik, Gina De Gracia, Danny Giraldo has gone through as well. Miriam Taylor is in the mix. So is Geneva Erlos, Rosalina Barragan. It is a great, strong group of women in that Category 4 leading group. 17 of them still there. So 17 riders in Category 4 at the top of the Hawk Hills climb. At the bottom of the Spring Road climb, which is the final climb today here in California, Rona Mae Joy Mayer is dreaming. She's California dreaming. She wants to be at the top of the tree. She wants to be the first rider up the Spring Road climb in California today in Category 6. But she has got company. There are 4 riders in that group behind. Fanucci Korn Sarasuk is a great climber. She's currently at 6 seconds with Liz Smithson, with Dominique Charlebois, and Katja Jaskalainen is there as well. Manon Holtman is a little bit further back down the road, but this group now pushing on, and it is indeed Sarasuk who is picking up the mantle here and climbing strongly towards Mayer's back wheel. So Category 6 on the right-hand side of your screen. On the left-hand side of your screen, it is Category 5, the 18 riders that we had come into the Hawk Hills climb. It ended up with 4 riders going away. At the top, it was Roja, Mongeli, Erevek, and Bago. It's looking to me like Katie Bago has now been dropped from that group of 3. Angelina Roja, Palma Mongeli, and Martina Erevek are the 3 riders going in. Mongeli is the rider in the polka dot skin suit. Roja and Erevek in blue. The 3 riders locked together now in Category 5 as they head up the Spring Road climb. So Category 5 and Category 6 are on the final climb of the day. It's a 35-kilometre race here in California, 500 metres of climbing. The 2 groups of riders who left the start pen first today are both now on that final climb of the day. Category 4, top right, they're at 27 kilometres. They have not got far to go. They are up and over the Hawk Hills climb. Category 3, top left, well, they have just got under the polka dot banner, and Kasani, McAlpine and Roach are all close together. In fact, there's a big group of riders all close together there in Category 3. It's looking like Beltran is in the mix. Kasani, Kiddle, Lytton, McAlpine. Ramett is there as well. Roach, Lennon, They are all in the mix. In fact, I'm having a close look at this. Oh, it's going to be interesting to see what we've got in category 3, but a good strong group of riders are looking like they've now gone clear. I call that 4 riders who have gone clear in category 3, and it's 4 strong riders. Kasani is in that group. She is in the polka dot skin suit. Kiddle is with her, so is McAlpine. But the chasing group are not far back. They are at 2 seconds. So Lytton, Kiddle, Kasani in that leading group. Here come the chase group behind. They are at 2 seconds, and it is all going to come back together again. So Dijkstra is the rider pulling them across at the moment. Beltran, Hakkinen, Montgomery, Esler, all in the mix. Nilsson is there as well. They are all coming together now. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's going to be a big group in category 3 as they transition into the base of the Spring Road climb. The question really is going to be what happens on that climb, because that's where the business is going to be done. Now, if you are new to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, take a look on the top right-hand corner of your screen. It gives you the groups on the road. It really does give you an aerial view is what is going on. Well, I'll tell you what's going on in the Category 1 race at the moment. We've got an attack off the front from Tiffany Penner. So Penner, part and parcel of the Cat 1 outcasts. Valensky doing the business from that team with the sprints. Penner pushing on and trying to create the action off the front of the Category 1 race at 17.5 kilometres. They're heading towards the Golden Gate Sprint. They're not there yet. They're on the section of course that moves between Area 52 and the Golden Gate. It's a continual uphill drag. That's probably the best way to describe it. Penner pushing on. McCarthy now closing it down. She's decided that enough is enough. Guerra is doing the business as well. Great to see Guerra pushing on here. Snova, Gallegos, Van Hooling, Fua and Kulczynski all in the mix as well. Mulbruni is there. Tomasi is there. Larson is there. Pretty much, other than the 2 riders we saw distanced earlier on in Category 1, the pack are rolling strongly. So Penner now back in the mix. And I'll tell you something, the pace is on here. The riders pushing on. A small section of rise dropping into a tiny descent before they hit the flat section. There's another small climb coming. The gradient constantly changing through this. And it did say from that 11.3 kilometre marker right through to 23.6, the base of the Hawk Hills. It is a gradual climb. And the gradient not giving a huge amount of respite. You will indeed feel that against your pedals. But at the 18.4 kilometre marker, out of the 35 kilometre race today, Wagner, Van Hooling, Kulczynski, Mayer, Gallegos, Bassoni, all in the group of Category 1. Well, who is dreaming of that win today here in California? Well, I can tell you, Siskiolka is dreaming in Category 4. Angel Hadlock is on her wheel. So is Montoya. Elos is there as well. The Category 4 group 17 riders we had together at the base of the climb, and you can see on that top right-hand corner screen, it's already been split into multiple small groups here on the Spring Road climb. Siskiolka is the rider pushing on here, and Hadlock trying to cover the move. So is Elos. Elos is moving through as well, but Pekakova is in there as well. In fact, it's still a strong group behind. Happy for Siskiolka to be out front. Well, that's the Category 5 riders on your right-hand side. Category 3 are motoring. Category 3 moving really strongly here. We've got a good-sized group coming together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that's about 13 riders in Category 3, all coming together. And into the base, just underneath the polka dot banner, that is the start of the final climb of the day. Yeah. So 13 riders in category 3 go underneath the banner for the Spring Road Climb. Bridget Kiddle is there. Dijkstra is there. So is Esler and Kasani. Nielsen, McAlpine, Beltran and Lennonin are all in the mix, but the push is now on at the front. Early doors on the climb. Really, really early. Big attack coming in. Now, this climb, it's got an average gradient of 4.4%, but it does kick to around 10%, around of a third of the way up. We then get a little flat plateau before we start to climb again. Later on the climb, it does hit around 8. When we get to the top, though, it is fairly, I was going to say flat. Flatter is probably the correct word to use, but indeed, Wendy McAlpine is the rider driving here in category 3 on the left-hand side of your screen. Category 2 now. Let's not forget they started 10 minutes after category 3. Category 2, big group here on the Golden Gate Sprint. So on the Golden Gate Sprint, category 2 coming through. Elsa Haag setting a strong time. I'm thinking that is still over 20 riders in that category 2 group. And look at the size of it. Now, category 2, I think, is really interesting because for me, category 2 is the most competitive category on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club in the women's race. 14 different riders took top 5 spots throughout the 4 qualifiers in March. Bearing in mind the total number it could have been if it had been one rider per spot was 20. 14 different riders stepped up to those top 5. The strength and depth in category 2 is so strong. We've seen really strong sprint finishes in category 2 over the last few weeks. It has been absolutely brilliant. Let's just not forget, in qualifier 3, 6 seconds separated the top 9 riders in category 2. You could have thrown a blanket over them. Category 2 for me is going to be really interesting today when we hit that final climb. On the final climb already, and at 30.7 kilometers into the race, this is, I think, a chase group here, and we've got a mix here. We've got the leaders in category 5 with the chase group in category 6. So 2 polka dot skin suits there because Pamela Mongelli, wearing the polka dot skin suit in category 5, has caught Liz Smithson, who has the polka dot skin suit, from picking up the most points on the Hawk Hills climb in category 6. We've also got Jaskalainen and Charlebois from category 6 in the group. As Mongelli continues to climb, but Mongelli has company in there as well. So really interesting to see Angelina Rojar, Pamela Mongelli now working themselves into 4th and 5th overall on the road. 3 riders ahead of them. The rider on the right-hand side of your screen, Rona May Joy Mayer. She came into the bottom of the climb and attacked in category 6. Fanichkon Sarasuk tried to go with her and broke away from the rest of the group, but Sarasuk sitting in 2nd, Brooke Samuel sitting in 3rd place at the moment in that category 6 race. Mongelli in 1, locked with Roja in that category 5 race. They're on the bottom left corner of your screen. Category 1 and category 2 on the top of your screen. Big packs still rolling in this race. Category 1, well, they are now coming towards the Golden Gate Bridge. They're going to come towards that sprint section. The question is going to be, can Alexi Snova hold on to that green skin suit, or will Bridget Filensky come through and take the points on the Golden Gate Bridge? She's not in this group. It will be at a later point in time after this category 1 group have gone through. Don't forget the results are live until the race is finished. You don't have to be in the leading group to set the fastest time through a sprint. Being in the group does help, obviously. You have draft to utilise as part and parcel of your tactics. So Snova in a really strong position here. That is the sprint banner. Snova tucked into the group, but she comes very, very quickly to the front. I think she's going to assume she's the only one making the sprint today here. And in fact, I'm just taking a look at the powers behind. She is indeed. So Snova, the only one from the group to go for the sprint. She continues to push on. Her only key challenge is going to be Bridget Felensky. Felensky is over a minute back now on this group, so she will indeed need to wait. And the only indication Snova will have as to whether Felensky sets a faster time is the fact she will lose the green skin suit and it will go onto Felensky's shoulders. So Snova at the moment in a strong position. She currently holds the Golden Gate Sprint for Category 1. And she currently maintains that green skin suit. Felensky will go through shortly, and we'll see how that plays out. So at the moment, Snova takes the win in Category 1. She's not the fastest time yet. Again, that goes to Randy Gino from Category 4. Phenomenal sprinting from her. Really, really great dynamics and utilising that pack and draft. But Snova, Category 1, Haag, Category 2. She's been picking up a lot of those sprints today. So has Montoya. Really, really good to see those results. On that Golden Gate Sprint. So let's just take a look. It was indeed a race in Category 5 and Category 6. Well, it's got to be Jessica Hamilton. It is indeed. So Mongeli now with Roja. These two still locked together in Category 5. They've just gone past Sarasuk and they've gone past Brooke Samuel as well. So the only rider ahead of them now is indeed Mare on the road today. So Roja and Mongeli continue to battle it out on the final slopes. They've got just under 3 kilometres to go here. Mare is, I'm looking at this, she's not that far up the road. She's 17 seconds up the road here. They are going to come up onto the shoulders of the leading Category 6 riders, and we're going to see the Category 2 riders go into the lead. Category 2, the Category 5 riders, the second riders out of the start pen. It's too many numbers here today, but Roja and Mongeli doing a sterling job here in Category 5. The two riders pushing on and pushing on strongly today. So Mare and Sarasu, part and parcel of the same squad in Category 6. They are currently lying in first and second in that race on the climb. Both part of the spin squad. Here in Category 5, we've got Angelina Roja. We've got from the Black Panthers, we've got Pamela Mongeli from the Black Panthers. We've got Martina Erevek from the Wheels of Fire. It's looking like in Category 6 and in Category 2, we've got a lot of teamwork and a lot of team motivation going on here. So Rona May Joy Mare currently in the lead here in Category 6. Fanucci and Sarasuk, her teammate, in second place. Brooke Samuel is chasing. She's part and parcel of the Level Cycling Warriors. Liz Smithson from Kitty Hawk Racing is in fourth place in Category 6, as Pamela Mongeli and Angelina Roja in Category 5, both part and parcel of the Black Panthers, come up onto Mare's wheel. They're going to take the lead on the road today. They're battling the lead in Category 5. Martina Erevek is at 17 seconds now in third place. Isabella Giraldo from Wheels of Fire. So the second counter in Erevek's squad is the fourth rider on the road. We said it was going to be a close competition, potentially between those two squads, the Black Panthers and the Wheels of Fire in Category 5. And that is how it is playing out today. So Category 4 also now well and truly on the climb here in California. They're on the Spring Road climb. They're coming up to 2.5 kilometers to go. And we've got Barragan, Hadlock, Sisiolka and Atahualpa together here. So 4 riders locked together. Really good, really strong riding here. Great to see. So Barragan, part and parcel of the Rhinos. Hadlock, also part and parcel of the Rhinos squad. 2 teammates yet again. This is going to be so good, because what we've also got is Atahualpa from Power of Red with Veronica Ciciolka, Power of Red. So we have 2 teammates from the Power of Red, 2 teammates from the Rhinos in category 4. Those are the 4 leading riders at the moment. This is the team competition, the individual competition, all wrapped up in one. The first 2 counters from the Power of Red, the first 2 counters from the Rhinos in category 4 are the leading group of 4 at the moment. Category 1, well, at 26 kilometres now into the race, they're up and over the Hawk Hills. They are continuing to work, continuing to move. The group is still strong and the group is together. Category 2, well, they're on the climb. They are on the Spring Road climb. Take a look at the size of that group. Category 2, they are rolling. Caramillo is at the front. Prado is there. Haag is there. They are all in the mix. Gabby Norden is in the mix too of that group, and the group rolling up the climb. So Category 1 coming into the base of the Spring Road climb. Category 2, a big group of riders still together coming into the Spring Road climb as well. They will shortly be on the climb, but towards the top of the climb now, it's the earlier starting race categories. Roja and Mongeli in category 5 are indeed locked together. And it is indeed a really great battle to see going on here. Both part and parcel of the Black Panthers squads. Mongeli in the polka dot skin suit, Roja in the blue jersey at the moment with the yellow cap. The two of them very happy to ride side by side. I'm wondering what the agreement is. We stretch the group, we get the gap, we get the seconds, we get the time. How long and what is the decision? Do you leave it till the last 500 meters and it goes down to the sprint against teammates to see who takes the win? Let's just take a look back, shall we? So Angelina Rojas had 2 fifth places. Mongeli's had a 4th and a 5th this month. They are so closely matched, the teammates together. Who is going to take the win? Well, continuing to ride side by side. They've got 1,400 meters to decide who wins the race for the Black Panthers today. But I can tell you something. It is going to be a Black Panthers potential win today unless something dramatic happens. And the only rider who could do anything dramatic at the moment is Martina Ervek, because Ervek, well, she's the rider in 3rd place. But it is a significant gap now in that Category 5 race. In the Category 4 race, Barragan is now attacking. So Barragan attacks in Category 4, the Rhinos rider. She was indeed with Ciciolska, Atahualpa, and indeed her teammate Hadlock, but Rosalina Barragan from the Rhinos. Oh, she's coming close now towards the top of the road, towards Mongeli and Roja. Those are the 2 riders she's got in her sights now. She's towing Ervek back to the leading 2 in Category 5. This could be dangerous. Mongeli and Roja do not have this yet in Category 5. Barragan has a 5-second gap now back to Ciciolka, Hadlock and Atahualpa, and it's going to be a really interesting neck and neck finale here in Category 4 as well. So Barragan from the Rhinos is the rider we are focusing on at the moment. She's got 900 meters to go on this climb. The 2 riders ahead of her, Mongeli and Roa, are the 2 riders leading the Category 5 race. They are side by side. They are teammates. At some point, the decision has got to be made. Which one of those riders will indeed be taking the win here in California? Well, Angelina Roa has just attacked her, Pamela Mongeli. She's decided now is the time. We've got 700 meters. We're going to decide this as teammates. The call has gone out in the ear of those teammates. Okay, team tactics gone. You 2 decide this. Roja and Mongeli. Roa is the rider pushing on here. She has had 2 fifth places this month. She's going to go better. She's going to try and take the top spot. The only rider that can stop her now is her teammate, Pamela Mongeli. Roa goes underneath the polka dot banner. She's got 500 meters now before the finish line, but she's sat up. Roa sat up now. Mongeli comes through. She's still got 500 meters here. Her heart rate is through the roof. 197 beats per minute. Goodness me, I wouldn't be still on the bike. Roha is indeed sitting up, taking some rest, taking some recovery, dropping that heart rate. Important. This could come down to a sprint. Mongeli, well, heart rates are individual, but Mongeli now pushing on. She wants the back wheel of Roa. She wants the back wheel of her teammate. She's probably going to want to take the run here because the UCI banner is coming. Around the corner it comes. Roha pushes. She does a final kick. Angelina Roha takes the win in Category 5. Pamela Mongeli takes second place today in that Category 5 race. The two riders from the Black Panthers. Category 4, Rosalina Barragan from the Rhinos takes the win. Hadlock, her teammate, takes second. Cici Olka takes third. Anna Hlupa takes fourth. Two riders from the Rhinos, two riders from the Power of Red, two riders from the Black Panthers. What a race so far in both the individual and the team competitions in Category 4 and Category 5. It's going to be so interesting to see how this plays out. Rona May Joy-Mayer from Category 6. She has climbed away from the rest of the group. We've just seen the polka dot skin suit go past her of Bridget Kiddle. That's Bridget Kiddle in Category 3. Kiddle is doing a phenomenal job climbing. Julia Montgomery is coming fast and hard though behind. Hannah Hakkinen is there as well. These riders pushing on, but Kiddle is absolutely adamant she's going to have it. Bridget Kiddle takes the win in Category 3. The race is on behind. Is it going to be Montgomery? Is it going to be Hakkinen? It's Montgomery from Hannah Hakkinen in Category 3. They are second and third today. Rona May Joy-Mayer is going to come through for first place in Category 6. It's finish after finish after finish on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club here in California. So we head back down the Spring Road climb to the Category 2 pack. Look at the size of this. Okay, so let me just put this into context. The climb started at 28.2 kilometres. That's 2.3 kilometres ago. Neck and neck, side by side, these women climb. This category is so competitive. They are so well matched here. We have 3, 6, 9, 10 riders here in Category 2. They have got 3.3 kilometres to go. Caramello, Engstrom, Haag, Giovanni, Gothlander are all in the mix. So is Prado. Van der Vliet is here as well. It is going to be a battle royale in Category 2 to the top of the climb. And I can tell you just 1.8 kilometres further down the mountain, well, it's the Category 1 pack on the left-hand side of your screen. 2, 4, 6, 8 riders in that Category 1 pack. We've got Bruni, Guerra, in the mix. Mayer is there as well. Hermansen is just off the back of the group with Bjarhead and Gallegos. McCarthy has made the cut. So has Fua. So has Holdcroft. So has Kulczynski. Guerra is at the front with Holdcroft, Fua, Olberg, Kulczynski. They are all in the mix here. I tell you something, a week's rest for Gabby Guerra has not done her any harm at all. Kate McCarthy decides it's now the time to go. Maria Holdcroft matches the move. Guerra tries to go as well as Bruni, Fua and Kulczynski. Oh, the push from Kate McCarthy. She's decided with 4.5 kilometres to go. Now is the time to push on the climb. Maria Holdcroft is having a storming performance in March. Honestly, her performances have been absolutely phenomenal and her riding has been superb. She's had 2/3 and a 4th on the Sunday Race Club and she is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. McCarthy settling down slightly. So is Holdcroft. Guerra's on her wheel. Bruni is there as well. Guerra now coming up onto the side of Holdcroft. Holdcroft and Guerra with Bruni now starting to go away. Kulczynski and Fua side by side a little further back. Now, this is a constantly changing gradient here. That was the steepest part of the climb that McCarthy attacked on. It went to 10%. McCarthy knows the climb. She knows it well. She's won on this course before. The gradient now comes back off. It's at 3.9, 2.8, 1.8. We've got a flat section here. This is where the riders could indeed get back on, and McCarthy now needs to settle into a rhythm. She knows exactly what she is doing. She has got Guerra and Bruni and Holdcroft at 8 seconds, Fua and Kulczynski at 12. So the race is now on in category 1 and in category 2. The race is absolutely motoring. It is going to be all about the climbing here today on the Spring Road climb. 6.3 kilometers with an average gradient of 4.4%. It is the finale to the course here in California. It is the finale to the March final of the Sunday Race Cup. If you're watching this and you want to join, now is the time to jump on board for April. Head over to MyWhoosh.com to that events page, click on that link, find out what you need from the technical guide and the rule set. Get it done. Get on that start line. I tell you something, this is a growing event. In January, the average number of participation in the women's race was 144. In February, the average participation in the women's race was 156 riders. In March, the average participation in the women's race has been 167 riders. Let's get this women's race close to 200, and I'm sure, I'll tell you something, the more women in the race, the more competitive it is, the more opportunities there are for you. Elsa Haag, Anna Caramillo, Sophie Giovanni and Cornelia Engstrom are locked in the category 2 battle at the moment. 5 riders now pulling away in category 2. Germaine Prado is there as well. Van Schoor is in the mix. It's looking like Van der Vliet has been dropped from the group. So is Thompson. Tilly Field, Serena Vittori, all dropped. Gothelander has been dropped from the group. These 2 riders may get back on. Van der Vliet and Thompson desperately trying to come back onto the group. Katarina Coe, the category 4 rider, giving them a little bit of draft as they come up and over, and I think they are going to make contact. The question is, can they stay in the group? They're going to make that group of 5-7, possibly. There's still 2 seconds off the back of the group. It might not sound like a lot, but 2 seconds very quickly becomes 4, very quickly becomes 6, and then all of a sudden you are in trouble. Well, Maria Holdcroft, we said she was riding strongly, and she's proving that yet again. McCarthy is up the road at 6 seconds. Holdcroft is doing the chasing. She's now 10 seconds clear of Bruni and Guerra. She's now 19 seconds clear of Kulczynski and Fua. This is interesting. Holdcroft is the teammate of McCarthy on that Ablock International squad. If McCarthy and Holdcroft can put a decent time gap into the riders behind, they are going to give their third counting rider a little bit more slip room to come through in that team competition. Now, McCarthy in 1, Holdcroft in 2. Bruni is there a little bit further back. So is Fua. So is Kulczynski. So is Guerra. Those riders from the Sweat Sensations and the Thundercats. So it's looking like we're going to have 2 riders from Ablock International, Holdcroft and McCarthy in 1 and 2. Then we've got Guerra and Bruni. 1 from the Sweat Sensations, 1 from the Thundercats. Then we've got Fua and Kulczynski, 1 from the Sweat Sensations, 1 from the Thundercats. It's a tight competition, and we knew it was going to be in that Category 1's women's race between those 3 squads. Ablock International, Sweat Sensations and Thundercats are battling it out. Well, battling it out now in the final 700 metres is this group of Category 2 riders. It was a huge group coming into the base of the climb. We've still got 5 riders in the mix. Haag is pushing on here. Giovanni Van der Vliet has made the group. Caramillo is there. So is Engstrom and Van Schoor. Germaine Prado is at the back of the group, but it's Elsa Haag who has come to the fore. She's in the green skin suit. She goes underneath the polka dot banner. She has got 500 meters to go. Elsa Haag, Anna Caramillo comes over the top. What can Caramillo do? Caramillo's been riding strongly, part and parcel of the racing ruse. Elsa Haag is in here. She's the Velo Valkyrie. She's pushing on and riding strongly as well. She's Engstrom's teammate in here. She's also the teammate of Van Shaw. So the Velo Valkyries are looking really strong in the team competition here in Category 2. German Prado from the Globetrotters also in the mix here. But Van Shaw comes up with Engstrom. These two riders going to come underneath the banner. It's like they've missed it. They can just roll over the line. Just like they took the miss there. Well, it was indeed Elsa Haag who took the win from Prado, from Caramillo, from Engstrom, from Van Shaw, from Van der Vliet and Giovanni. Those 7 riders rolled over the line, well, the 6 riders rolled over the line, 0.8 of a second. They just came round the corner as they were. Well, Category 2, that was an interesting call. Talk about putting a blanket over the group at the finish. You could have put a handkerchief over them. Well, I'll tell you something, McCarthy now pushing on in Category 1. And let's take a look back down the road because McCarthy is in 1. She's coming up to the 1K to go banner. Holdcroft, she is at 9 seconds. Guerra and Bruni locked together in 3rd place. Fua and Kulczynski locked together in 4th. 5th and 6th, sorry. Interesting, Nicole Mayer also in the mix there. She looks to me like she's in 7th place today. Now, Mayer, part and parcel of that Sweat Sensations squad. They could be, with Mayer, very, very close to taking that team win today. It's going to be interesting to see whether she's got company or what those time gaps are. It is going to be very, very close in Category 1 today. Though undoubtedly it is going to be Mary-Kate McCarthy who takes the win. The rider in the rainbow bands has got 500 meters to go. Well, once she goes underneath that polka dot banner, she has. She's going to do that very shortly. Holdcroft, well, I'll tell you something. She is very close behind. So Maria Holdcroft, she's 10 seconds back down the road on McCarthy. There he is. McCarthy, the world champion, goes through the polka dot banner. She has gone underneath the banner first in the Category 1 race. She's 8 seconds clear of her teammate, Maria Holdcroft, in 2nd. McCarthy is going to come through and take the win today. The world champion took the win the last time we were here on the 1st of December in 2024. I tell you something, she's going to set a faster time today. It was 60 minutes in December. It's going to be 58 minutes in March. Quicker, faster, stronger. Kate McCarthy takes the win today in Category 1 in California. Holdcroft comes up. She's just a few seconds back off of McCarthy. She goes underneath the banner for 2nd place. So 1st and 2nd today in the Category 1 race. Both riders for Ablock International. That team race is going to be really, really interesting. Guerra and Bruni side by side, neck and neck for 3rd place today. They've got around 150 meters to go now in this race. Guerra kicks. Bruni responds behind at 11 watts per kilo. Guerra and Bruni are going to sprint this out here today. Bruni's got the run on Guerra. Can Guerra hold it? They're going to come round the corner. Mel Bruni goes over the top. Mel Bruni goes over the top and takes 3rd place today. Guerra in 4th. What a race. What a battle between those two. Bruni takes Guerra just. Fua and Kulczynski, the next 2 riders coming up and through and over the line. Catherine Fua takes 5th place today for the Sweat Sensations. Kristen Kulczynski for the Thundercats takes 3rd. That team competition in Category 1 is just going to be so close. We've got another battle going on now between Mayer and Olberg. Olberg riding for Fully Calibrated, but if Nicole Mayer comes through, I think this is going to be the Sweat Sensations taking the win in Category 1. Olberg comes through. Great ride from Camilla Olberg today to take 7th place on the Sunday Race Club. Really, really strong riding. 8th place goes to Nicole Mayer. And that, I think, may well be the win for the Sweat Sensations. Let's just take a look. The overall standings today, Kate McCarthy takes the win, 58 minutes, 17 seconds. Maria Holdcroft, her teammate on Ablock International in 2. Mel Bruni from the Sweat Sensations in 3. Gabby Guerra from the Thundercats in 4. Catherine Fua from the Sweat Sensations in 5. Kristen Kolchinsky from the Thundercats in 6. Close racing. Camilla Alberg, fully calibrated in 7. Nicole Meyer from the Sweat Sensations in 8. Lisa Hermansen from Ablock International in 9th. And I can tell you, it was going to come down to seconds in the team competition. And it has. Lisa Hermansen, credit to her racing today, because coming in a minute down on Kate McCarthy's time, Ablock International take it from the Sweat Sensations by 58 seconds. That was some phenomenal racing in Category 1. So close. Well, the women's race for the March final did not disappoint. Thank you so much for joining me, Emma Martin, here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Matt Payne joined me earlier on. He's headed over to start the men's race. I am going to join him very, very shortly for what I hope is going to be as an exciting men's finish today as we have just seen in that women's race. I can confirm the Thundercats have come through for 3rd place in that team competition. And the other team competitions, if you want to find out all the information about the race today and the results, head over to mywhoosh.com/results, where the live results of the women's race are currently up for you to see. When you see that blue tick later on in the week, the results have been verified and are ready to go. But if you want to see the live results, head over there now. Me, I'm heading over to the men's race. I will see you there shortly. Goodbye.